Hi, this is Luigi. We wanted to let you know that we had some minor alignment issues with this episode, but it's 95% good. So enjoy.
Hi, welcome to the F1 Time Portal, a Formula One history podcast started by two doyens of Formula One. I'm your host, Rosa.
And I'm your Get Back host, Luigi. And today we're taking you back to the second part of the 1969 season. So let's go. So now it's my turn to go first. Doyens.
I knew you were going to ask. I knew it.
I had a feeling I knew what it meant, but yeah, it's not a normal word. So tell us
I may have overreached.
why we are F1 doyens.
Yeah, I may have overreached in this one, Louis. But, unless anyone corrects us, I'm going to go with it. The actual meaning of doyen is the most respected or prominent person in a particular field.
That's what we are.
Well, exactly.
Well, how many F1 history podcasts are out there? I don't
know that there are any that are solely dedicated to the history of Formula One.
Yes. So we are doyens.
We are doyens. Yep. I'm going with it.
We should rename our podcast F1 History Doyens.
F1 Time Portal Doyens. And Get Back. That's got to be that's another Beatles one. Yes.
Awesome Beatles song. Well, it's probably my top 5. I love those aggressive songs, it's got a bit of fire in it,
Yeah,
so,
yeah. You don't like the Paul McCartney ones. You like the John Lennon ones.
I do, but that's a Paul McCartney song. He's singing it. So I have to sometimes accept Paul McCartney look, Paul McCartney's hugely talented. I'll find here's a Formula One analogy. Paul McCartney this might upset some British people. Paul McCartney is Graham Hill and John Lennon is Jim Clark. There, I've said it.
Well, I'm surprised you haven't shoved Jackie Stewart in there somewhere. Or are you saying, Clark's Scottish?
I know, but more Clark and Hill were more at the same time, whereas Stewart came later. So, yeah, there was overlap, but it was only a little bit at the end on both sides. So, yeah.
All right, what are we up to?
We're up to the 4th race of the season. There's 11 races this season. So this is the Dutch Grand Prix. So it's our favourite location, Zandvoort. Always just like the name Zandvoort. It just sounds cool. Yeah. So 21st of June, it's a 90-lap race, 15 drivers. It's a 3x2x3 grid formation and the weather is warm and sunny. So the big news for this race is that the wings are back. But as we highlighted in our opening, there were now conditions on how they were mounted, like their height, their width, and so forth.
Well, hopefully these new rules actually are there to prevent them breaking and causing accidents. Like that, they're pretty big accidents that these guys are having now.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the mere fact you're trying to tell your teammate, stop, that shows, right? Yeah.
That's serious.
So again, the third practice session was wet, so the times were set in the second, which primarily set the grid. So Rindt was in pole in the Lotus, making his return.
Yes, because he missed because of his broken nose and...
Yeah, whatever else. Yeah. Followed by Stewart in the Matra, and then Hill in the Lotus was third. So X and Eamon on the second row and 4th and 5th. So this is a personal comment here. Now, I can't remember writing this, but I'm going to just go with what I wrote.
Oh, no. I haven't even read this.
This 1969 script was...
Okay, personal comment from Luigi. Here we go.
Yeah, this is me talking to camera. So...
Okay. You're breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, the fourth pod. This has never been done before. So this 1969 script was drafted by Rosa, who did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
But I do notice some interesting traits. For example, generally whenever the grid is explained, i.e. the first few positions, it goes down far enough to pick up at least one Ferrari driver. And in this case, Eamon in 5th. So Rosa, what do you have to say about this accusation? And I'll ask you to read the script, please.
I love how you go because we take turns writing the script. And Luigi goes, Rosa, I've read through the scripts. I've just added some additional things. They're all in the blue text if you want to go through them. So I just scan the thing You've written this in the black, so I didn't even read it. I didn't even know you were going to say this.
Yes, this is part one. This is part one, Rosa, just so you know.
This is an unprofessional accusation. That's true, I would say that. And in turn, I accuse you of unprofessionalism by editing my script, making me say this, and then not changing the font colour. So I only discovered this modification now, live, while we are recording.
There you go.
Well, I also have to say in my own words, firstly, I don't go to only at least pick up one Ferrari driver. There is only one Ferrari driver.
Yeah, okay. But they have to at least be up there enough so that it's not noticed, but I noticed.
That's right. You did. You noticed. I couldn't hide it enough. And I am still sticking by my rule. We're only talking about anything good that Ferrari does this season. And qualifying fifth is quite good. It's borderline. It's borderline. 5. It is. It's borderline. Can I just...
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've had some fun. Oh, yeah, go on. Yeah.
Now you're going to force me to read every single word of the script.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay. So on race day, Hill made an absolutely superb start and took the lead at Tarzan hairpin ahead of Rindt and Stewart in third.
I don't think anyone told Hill that the Monaco race was his last ever podium, but maybe we spoiled that for everyone.
Yeah, because now everyone knows he's not going to win this race or not top 3.
Now he's not going to make it. Yeah, or even get on the podium.
Yeah, I know. So the next 3 laps, I think it's worth saying because we're seeing the decline of Hill and we talk about this later. Yeah. So the next 3 laps were a good old-fashioned tussle with Rindt trying to get past his teammate Hill while keeping Stewart in that Matra at bay.
It's turning out to be the Rindt and Stewart rivalry era, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
We missed out on the Stewart and Clark rivalry, but we're getting a new one. Yeah.
But now we've got a new one. So Rindt eventually got past Hill on lap 3 and then quickly pulled out a 4-second lead, which showed he clearly had pace in hand. 2 laps later, Stewart also overtook Hill. And so by this time, Rindt had already increased his lead over Stewart to 10 seconds. But on lap 17, his drive shaft failed and his car came to a halt. That's Rindt's car came to a halt. So Stewart sailed past into the lead.
The luck Stewart is having this season, it's unbelievable. I mean, he's a good driver, but a bit of luck always helps out. Just ask Moss. Really, he's having almost the complete opposite of Moss's luck.
Yeah, I agree. I say partially agree. I think I mostly agree because I think for this season we have seen winners of races that have been in second or third quite a lot. And Stewart has had a couple of races like that so far. So let's see how he goes. Let's see if he redeems himself but don't forget he's in second. It's not like he was third or fourth.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah. Didn't in Monaco though, everyone in front of him retired. He was, I think there was 4.
But
Hill won that one.
Hill won that one
true.
though, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so far it's been a little bit like that for Stewart this year. I don't think we've seen a Stewart dominant take the lead win yet. Yeah. Not this season, I mean. So to the race, Siffert was now in second, 14 seconds behind, having passed a ton of drivers, including Hill in third.
Siffert qualified 10th, so this is quite a good drive by him.
Yeah, he's really going for it. So Hill was unhappy with his car's handling, so he pitted for some modifications and rejoined a lap down in 8th place. So now the fight for third was between Holm in the McLaren, Eamon in the Ferrari, and Ickx in the Brabham.
We haven't spoken much about Holm. He's the 67 champ, remember? So that McLaren is not really doing very well this season. No.
Not so far. And Ickx was able to get past Eamon, but the stubborn Holm was not letting him get past because he really wants us to keep talking about him.
That is 100% his intention, yes. He knew we were going to do this podcast. He knew that we would focus on him as a 67 champion. And yeah. That's exactly what's happening here.
It's exactly what he wanted. So up front, Stewart was now 25 seconds ahead of 15 seconds of fame Holm. Still with half the race to go. So the fight for third was now joined by Brabham and the Brabham, and the 4 drivers switched positions continuously until it was just between Holm and Eamon. So on lap 83 of 90, Eamon finally got past Holm and snatched third place at the Tarzan hairpin. So the final standings were Stewart first, Siffert, amazing second from, like you said, 10th, and Eamon a surprising third.
Good on you, Eamon. Flying the flag for the only non-Ford engine and the only Ferrari driver.
Yeah. And I can see when you do your constructors, we'll make a comment about that.
Okay. So we have in the Drivers' Championship, we've got Stewart on 27, Hill on 15 and Siffert on 13. Wow, he's sort of come out of nowhere. And in the constructors, we've got Matra on 27, Lotus on 21, McLaren on 15. Do you want me to keep going? Brabham on 9 and Ferrari on 4.
Yeah, might as well. In 5th. And having gained 3 positions. So that's not good for Ferrari at all, is it?
They were nowhere. Yeah.
No, they were sitting in 8th. This was their first points of the season. So it's unusual to see Ferrari down there, isn't it?
Yeah, they went up 3 positions. Yay!
Yeah, okay, that's right. Positives. No, we're saying positive things. Ferrari went up 3 positions. Wow. Yeah, to 5th. Okay, so we're up to the 5th race of the season, the French Grand Prix at Clermont-Ferrand. On the 6th of July, 38 laps, 13 drivers. This season's not had many drivers, has it? 2x2 grid formation and warm and sunny weather. So BRM are missing for this race as they try to sort out their poor performance so far this season.
He broke an ankle. Yeah.
As is Jack Brabham, who actually broke an accident while testing at Silverstone.
And yeah, I don't know. Need that coffee to kick in. Yeah.
What did I say? Broke an ank? Is that what I said?
Excellent.
I've had the coffee. I do feel more alert, though. I admit, I don't know why I didn't have it earlier, but it'll kick in, don't worry.
So this is interesting that BRM, because, that was all that inner ruckus that we spoke about last episode. But like they got some pretty good drivers out there. They've got Surtees and Rodriguez and Oliver. Like they're not slouches. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is on the team for sure. Yeah, just like Ferrari, it's on the team too because Eamon's a great driver. Yeah, so practice was dominated by Stewart, who set the fastest time at each session to grab pole position in his Matra. Holm took second, with Rindt and Ickx on the second row in third and fourth.
Holm is now staying in the limelight. Or is it that his McLaren is getting better? Or is it more suited to this track?
Yeah, time will tell, I guess. So when the flag fell on race day, Stewart shot into the lead with Holm slotting into second.
You must be enjoying this season with Stewart killing it, Luigi. Where is his rival Rindt and Hill?
Yeah, you say that, and on one hand I think, yes, I'm enjoying it, but it does feel a little bit hollow. I have to admit. Yeah, because and I think, Rosa, I'll leave my reveal at the end as to why. But there's some realizations that I've made about this particular season and Jackie Stewart.
Wow! So our podcast is resulting in you getting a bit like a development in your Formula One appreciation. Wow, some growth, Luigi. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, and there's some growth as a person. Yes, so I'm very proud that I've opened my mind. It doesn't mean I'm not in love with Stewart still, but the love is maybe, you know how relationships sometimes end, and there's not even another driver for me to run to. If that makes sense.
No. Yes, I'm just looking forward to some of this growth in the 80s and maybe 2000s.
I just can't see me ever being a Senna fan. I really will struggle with that. That's where I need shock therapy or something.
We'll get there. Okay, all right. I'm impressed. You're doing the work. Good. Doing the inner work.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, we'll get there. That's the baby steps, right? So
where is Rint and Hill? Like, where are they?
So Rent is running in 4th and behind Ix in 3rd, and Hill is actually in 6th. So Hill is starting to realise that he will never get on the podium again, and it's starting to bother him. And it's not helping that Rent is beating him like a drum, pretty much. So on lap 12, Holmes' anti-roll bar loosened, which forced him into the pits for repair, and this cost him 3 laps and pretty much any further acknowledgement from us in this race. So, yeah, with Holm out, Ix moved into 2nd, having earlier passed Rent. But then Rent had Lotus car troubles again, and he actually waved Beltoise through in the Matra into 3rd place.
That Lotus, it's back to its old days of unreliability, hey?
Yeah, I know. So Beltoise, with space in front of him, quickly made up the 11 seconds to Ix. And soon the two were fighting for 2nd place, so he was on fire.
So this is a Frenchman fighting for 2nd place at his home race. That is, like, we haven't heard that for a long time, if at all. Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, true. And let's not forget Ix is a Belgian. And the French and the Belgians are not only neighbours, but they also have a bit of natural neighbourly rivalry, I'd say. I think because they sort of share a language. I know the British, Belgians speak Flemish, but a lot of them also speak French because they have a lot of French connection. So France and Belgium fought for many laps, with Beltoise/France finally getting past Ix on the very last lap to take 2nd by just 0.2 of a second.
Vive la France. Is that what I have to say? Good on you, Beltoise. I like it.
That's what you have to say. So Stewart crossed the line for the win nearly a minute earlier, almost unnoticed.
So, God, I know I'm going to regret this. What happened to Eamon? Or shouldn't I have asked? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you asked, so yeah. So since you asked, he retired when his engine broke 7 laps from the end. And I think he was about 4th. It's hard to tell. So there were more points on the table for Ferrari. But, yeah, that's the way it goes.
Yeah. All right. I regret asking. Okay. So to the championship standings, the drivers, we have Stewart on 36, Graham Hill on 16, Siffert on 13 with Bruce McLaren and Beltoise on 11. And in the constructors, we've got Matra on 36, Lotus on 22, McLaren on 18, Brabham on 13. And, yeah, Ferrari's still on 4.
Okay. In 5th. So, yeah, we've got the 6th race of the season, the British Grand Prix, 6 races out of 11, at Silverstone. The 19th of July, 84 laps, 17 drivers, a 3x2x3 grid, and weather is overcast but dry. I always have mixed feelings about this race. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's great. It's not like Monza where it's almost always great. So let's see. So all the 4-wheel drive cars made their debut here in practice. I think that's because most of the teams are British, and it's cheap to do the testing here, right? Because it's not far. And some in the race, I'll go from now on, and from now on, I'll ignore that sort of aspect in the race unless they do something special like we talk about in the opening.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, we're not mechanical or technical, so I'm not sure that there's a huge amount of interest in this for us, like, especially if it went nowhere, like it doesn't go anywhere. So it just distracts from what's happening in the race. They just get in the way of good racing. Yeah. Yeah, the rear upright. You did a good job with the drive shaft. I thought that was good.
And we demonstrated our technical skills when I called that part a top hat. I don't even remember what it was called. The rear upright, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was impressive. Absolutely.
Oh, did I? Yeah, I nailed it when I said the car won't move. So, yeah. So, therefore, it's important. So Stewart dominated all the practice sessions, setting the fastest time and setting pole early in the session on Friday.
So he just set the fastest time really early, pretty much demoralising everyone else and just going, yep, this is the vibe. I'm in control.
Yeah. And maybe that's where that Stewart thing comes from, because he just took ownership and control. Just because he can't help that he was lucky. But look what he's doing. He just demoralizes everyone. When you set a time that no one can touch and you do it on your first day, that's setting a message to everyone else. Yeah, true. So this is where it does get interesting though. He doesn't get pole actually because of what I'm about to say. For the final 2-hour session on Friday, a £100 prize was on offer for the fastest driver at the end of each 30-minute period. Well, it's weird. It's a couple of things I was going to say. This is like Q1, Q2, Q3 in 2024 era. So it's not so gimmicky. It's ahead of its time. I'll give it that. But there's so much money in the sport that I don't think we need these tricks, especially in this era. So Stewart won the first 2 prizes and then decided to jump into the 4-wheel drive. Yeah, so I know I'm only mentioning it because it has a domino effect. So he obviously, I guess it's all part of ego why they're doing all this sort of stuff. But what is £100 in today dollar?
Well, £100 in 1970 is about £1,400 in 2024. So I guess that's pretty big back in the day. Good motivation. Not huge. Nah. They get more money just by wearing a branded T-shirt.
Yeah. Okay. Still not a huge amount. I can't see a Formula One driver doing anything for that now, of course. But yeah. So Rint was leading in the next 30-minute session. So Stewart then jumped back into his normal car to try to catch him, and he hit a bit of broken curb, which punctured his tyre. He crashed and wrecked his car, but escaped uninjured.
He wrecked a car for £100, Louis.
And fourth £100.
Well, £1,400.
Yeah.
More than that. It would have cost more than £100 at the time.
Or £1,400 in today's dollars. And I wonder how much it cost to repair the damage to Stewart's Matra. I'll make a bet Ken Tyrrell had words, is all I can say. So it's not, yeah. So what happened next because of that accident? Because this is the interesting domino effect. Yeah. So Stewart took over Beltoire's car because he wanted to win the 4th prize. Oh, he hadn't. Yeah. So sorry, there's a bit of mix up here. So the 4th prize is on the table. So Stewart jumped into Beltoire's car, but still couldn't win it. Rint won that and won pole position from Stewart.
Okay, so that then meant, though, that Beltoise gets stuck starting from the back of the grid with the Lemon 4-wheel drive because Stewart has to drive Beltoise's car because that's the model he set his time in.
Well, it's not only that, it's more the fact that Stewart gets priority and he got the good car. The 4-wheel drive car got relegated to Beltoise because Stewart wrecked his own car. For the £100.
From the back of the grid. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, from the back of the grid.
With the weird car.
And he was the French hero not long ago, remember? The battle with Ix, and now he's starting from the back. Oh, well, at least that qualifying gave us a bit of excitement. I don't think I've read this ever. Okay, this happened in 69. I don't see it happening anymore ever again. Do you? Do you recall reading it anywhere after this time? It gave something to talk about. So, yeah, I give it that, and it's a pity it never comes back until, funnily enough, we do the Q1, Q2, Q3, which is, I think it's been around for 10 years or more, 15 years. Yeah. So back to 69 race in the British Grand Prix. Yeah, so just to recap, after all that excitement, it's Rint on pole, Stewart in 2nd, Holm in 3rd, and Ix in 4th. Yeah. So on race day, right from the moment the flag fell, the race was dominated by the duel between Rint and Stewart, with Rint taking the lead. Stewart was desperately trying to overtake him, which he finally did on lap 6.
We often see this at Silverstone, don't we? Where just 2 drivers are battling it out. Like there's lots of like Hill and Clark ones that I remember. Even back in the Fangio, Ascari, it was always 2 drivers out in their own and then like a huge break and the rest of the field. Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, like a rule. You have to be in a zone with one other. You're not allowed to be in a zone on your own. So Rint stuck to Stewart like glue, and then he repassed him on lap 16.
Wow, that would have been really good to see. Again, two drivers in their prime going head to head on a fast track. One of them's British. Crowd would have been loving it. Wow.
So Rint kept the lead for the next 45 laps, and Rint and Stewart setting such an aggressive pace that these two lapped the entire field. Stewart was never more than a car length behind.
So even though he was in the lead for 45 laps, they would have been very tense laps. Like they wouldn't have been relaxing. I don't know if you ever relaxed in a Formula One car. But lapping back markers creates risks and opportunities. So it would have been really tense having him that close behind for Rint. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, every misstep trying to overlap someone would have been an opportunity risk. Yeah, it would have been pretty cool. On lap 62, remember this is an 84-lap race, the position suddenly changed and Stewart appeared in the lead. Yeah, so Rint rushed into the pits on the very next lap with some of the aerofoil, I struggle with that word, let's call it rear wing, loose on his end plate, which I imagine probably looks like a hat. Everything looks like a hat.
Oh, no, not another one. Damn, the wings and Lotus. Poor Rint.
Yeah. Which was rubbing on his tyre. I know. So Rint lost half a minute in the pits, but he was still second. That's how much of a lead that him and Stewart had built up. He was still second when he rejoined, still a minute ahead of Ix in that Brabham.
Wow, that is huge. That is a huge gap. That he's still, like he was able to take a minute in the pit, or half a minute in the pits. He's still second, and he's a minute ahead of Ix. Hopefully he still gets second.
Yeah, still. But then
go, Stewart wins again, and again with a little bit of luck, just a little bit of luck.
Yeah, unfortunately on lap 78 of 84, Rint had to stop for fuel, which dropped him to fourth.
Poor Rint. Oh.
Yeah, Ix inherits second, McLaren takes third, and so obviously Rint takes fourth place. So yeah, and I mean, I'll just draw your attention. I know you're about to do the driver championship standings. Look out for Rint in the top 5.
Well, on to this championship standings with the drivers. We now have Stewart on 45, Bruce McLaren's on 17, Graham Hill on 16, and Siffert and Ix on 13. So, no, there is no Rint.
There is no Rint. Yeah. He's been up there all year though, hasn't he? In terms of the rate, like we talk about him a lot.
I know. We talk about him. How many has he actually finished though? That's the interesting bit, I think, up until now. The constructors, we've got Matra on 45. So interesting, Stewart's on 45 and so is Matra. Has he won all the points for Matra? Interestingly. Oh, it's just one driver. Yeah, okay.
Oh, remember the rule? The rule is they take the most score from the race. So do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so let's say, for example, Stewart and Matra are both on 45. That says Beltoise not once has finished ahead of Stewart. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yes. That. No, it wasn't the mic.
You dropped away then. I think you were saying Ferrari's on 4. Was that on purpose? Or was that your mic?
It was intentional. I have to say this out loud, but I'm not going to make it so anyone can
That's
hear
very
me.
funny. Very good. Oh, okay. It was an intentional. It was a physical issue. Oh, funny. Okay, so we're up to the 7th race of the season, the German Grand Prix. So it's at the special Nürburgring, the 3rd of August, 14 laps. Remember, these are very long laps. 26 drivers. And because of this track being about, from memory, 22 kilometres, which I think is about 14 or 15 miles, There's 14 F1 cars and then the rest are F2 cars, which gives us a little bit of interesting things to talk about. The grid formation is 3x2x3 and the weather is warm and sunny. So, once again, the organisers are running an F2 race at the same time. So, as I said earlier.
Well, it was kind of warranted this year because Ferrari aren't here. They've withdrawn to prepare for the Italian GP. Oh, that is hilarious. Have they? Is this when they're trying to get their flat 12? Is this the race they withdraw to prepare?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so there's only 14 F1 entrants. Like that's pretty, like you say, on such a big track, that's like one car every 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like, and especially if they space out. So I like it when they do this though, because we get a sneak preview of the next generation of F1 drivers on display. And with the power of hindsight, we can watch the future stars be revealed on the big stage because we know which ones are going to be big. And we go, what are they doing in this F2 race? It's fascinating. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. But no, I don't think there's that many. Well, I tried to, but I guess I don't really know as many from back in this era as you do, but
I don't have it in front of me. Give me a second to have a quick look.
Oh, well, we've seen him in F1 previously though.
Okay, I'm having a quick look and I don't think I'm giving too much away, but I'll name Stewart is in there. Francois Stewart. Servoz Gavin. He's not.
Yeah, but Servoz Gavin,
but I'm talking future.
He's been in F1.
These are drivers that move, that achieve stuff. Yeah. Oh, they're the only two actually. The rest are. Oh, has he? Oh, he's been in F1. Oh, so it's not he's about to be. Oh, so he's just. Yeah. Okay. Got to take the drives when you can. Okay. Fair enough. But Sever is definitely a driver that we talk about. Yeah. So to practice, as was almost expected, Stewart set the pace in practice because he's got an awesome record on this track.
Wow. Do you remember when getting under 10 minutes here was staggering, Louis?
But Ix in the Brabham took pole with a time under 7 minutes, with a time of 7 minutes 42 seconds.
So now we're almost under 7 minutes. Well, 7 minutes 42, that's under 8 minutes. That's pretty big.
Yeah. That's why some people really like the Monaco race because there's not many races that show you the evolution of the sport on pretty much the same track. Like Monaco has had some minor tweaks, but not major. I think Nürburgring would have been an awesome one to keep on as well if they get the safety standards up, because I'm imagining they'd do this track.
I was going to say 5 or 6. Yep, I reckon too.
Oh, Joe, what would they do it in? I'm guessing. I wonder if that'd be something to investigate, but I reckon they'd do it in 5 minutes. Yeah, because remember, some records that we see in this era do stand. Like there's a record that takes place in 71 that stands for 30 years. So the pace of the car is still fundamentally up there. It's just the weight and the power and all the safety features, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. So anyway, back to the race. The standard contenders were next up. So Ix getting a bit of a surprise pole, Stewart taking second and Rindt in third. So Andretti also came in for this race for Lotus, but qualified a lowly 12th and Hill was 10th.
So a couple of points here. Rindt is clearly a superstar, even at this stage. He's taking that Lotus to places Hill can't even get close to. Like Hill is 10th. So, yeah, he should be team leader. Like I know that Hill is the defending champion, but Rindt's team leader, isn't he? Do you think? Oh, there you go. Yeah. Also, we have Andretti. I think he's driving the 4-wheel drive for Lotus in this race because that's what he was called in to do.
I don't know if we need to research it, but I'm sure Colin Chapman was treating him as... And Colin Chapman was very close to Rindt, actually. So there was a closeness and clearly the results are there too.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see if he can actually finish a race in F1.
Hence, and he qualified that low 12th or whatever, so... Yeah, okay. So on race day, the start did not go as planned for pole sitter Ix. He was well down the field in 9th as the cars went into the south curve and Stewart was leading from Siffert, who started 4th.
Well, I'm going to call that a nonsense start, Louis. X went from pole to 9th. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Mike Lang didn't call it that, did he? Yeah, I think that's a proper nonsense. If Mike Lang doesn't call it, we've got a responsibility to... Yeah. So by the end of the first lap, though, and remember these are long laps, X had slightly redeemed himself because he'd already worked his way back up to 4th with Rindt in 3rd.
That is a lot. That these laps, like you say, are 22 kilometres long. So a lot can happen in one lap.
Yeah. So Stewart in the Matra had a 6-second lead over Siffert in the Rob Walker Lotus, while X had now overtaken Rindt to move up into 3rd.
So X and where's Brabham? Am I saying, is it X? Oh, he's driving a Brabham.
Oh, no, he's in the Brabham. Rick's, yeah. I want to say X and the Brabham team. Yeah.
Yes, they have come out of nowhere in this race. Yeah, so he's got the pace finally in that Brabham. Yeah, I don't know.
And where is his team leader, Jack Brabham? I think the tide's turning there too. Jack Brabham's probably... Remember, he was being mocked for his age back in the mid-60s, let alone 69. He's probably got 1.5 feet in the management side and half a foot in the car, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So early on lap 3, X overtook Siffert for 2nd and proceeded to reduce Stewart's lead to 3 seconds.
Wow, I think I'm going to make X my favourite driver from now on. Like I'm liking the way he goes about it, and I am a sucker for a cool name. So X, a bit like Lola, pretty cool name.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool name. Yeah. So on lap 4, and remember this is a lap 14. This is a 14-lap race. X and Stewart were battling side by side, but Stewart kept X at bay for 2 laps. Now, remember, that's 15 minutes of exciting wheel-to-wheel racing, so 2 laps doesn't do it justice. On lap 6, X finally overtook Stewart, but then he ran wide and slips behind Stewart again. Yeah. It just shows how good Stewart is too. Like, he hasn't been challenged much, but when he does get challenged, he's certainly not easy to pass. Look how much these guys are battling. So on lap 7, X actually set a new lap record and finally outpaced Stewart around the south curve, and this time, instead of running wide, he pulled out a 2-second gap. So the rest of the race saw many mechanical retirements, so there were actually only 4 finishers. So Hill ended up finishing 4th. McLaren finished 3rd.
Wow, that is a fantastic drive to beat, like you say, an informed Stewart, and he was a demon at this track. He always does well here. So that's a good finish.
Stewart came 2nd. I was going to say X had an engine issue. And X won the race.
Ooh.
It is. And now he won by nearly a minute from Stewart, though. So in defense of Stewart did have gear trouble towards the end. But it's clear that when they were battling, there were no problems. So that problems may have happened later. So this was, yeah.
And again, Andretti doesn't finish the race, I bet.
This is his 2nd win.
Poor Andretti.
Yeah, he crashed his 4-wheel drive car on lap 3. So don't worry, his time will come. He gets rewarded for persistence and patience. And this is actually the last race at Nürburgring until 1971, because due to the ever improving requirements to improve safety, they needed time to implement barriers and modify the track.
Yeah, and I think we also need to acknowledge in this race the passing of an F2 driver. I think his name was Gerhard Mitra. He actually participated in some F1 races in the early 1960s, earning 3 points in the Porsche. But in this race, he was driving an F2 car and lost his life in the practice session. He was only 33. Sad. Okay, after 7 races, we have Jackie Stewart on 51. Gosh, she's blitzing. X on 22, McLaren on 21, Hill on 19. I mean, you could almost call it over in terms of the Drivers' Championships, can't you?
Pretty much. You'd think so. I don't think he's got enough points because there's 8, 9, 10, 11, still 4 races to go. So Ix can do it.
Yes. And in the constructors, we have Matra on 51, Brabham on 28, with Lotus also on 28, McLaren on 24.
And McLaren can do it too, but we haven't exactly seen them dominate except Ix the last race. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so should we squeeze another one in, Rosa, the Italian Grand Prix?
Yes, and especially this year, if Ferrari are in the mix. I mean, they've taken a race off for this race to prepare.
Let's do it.
So I have
this is
very high
at Monza,
expectations.
our favourite track. The September 7th, 68 laps, 16 drivers, a 3x2x3 grid, and the weather is warm and sunny. So this is a race we talk about a lot. We look forward to this a lot.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Hard work.
Yeah, a race off was it a holiday race off or was it a preparation race? I think it was the opposite of a holiday. Yeah. In practice, the battle for pole position centered around Rindt, Holm and Stewart, with the 3 swapping fastest laps over the 3 sessions. So Rindt eventually settled it with pole, followed by Holm in the McLaren in second, Stewart in third, and Courage in the Williams in fourth. So, interesting start to the season, hey? So, interesting, a lot of drivers experimented without wings during practice, with most of them deciding they didn't need them when they lined up for the race on Sunday.
And that kind of still holds true today, doesn't it? Monza being yep. And I don't hear any Ferrari news, Louis. This is Monza. Come on. And they didn't race in Germany to prepare.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's that bad, huh?
Well, you said you didn't want to hear about them unless it was good. So I'm just looking after your well-being. Yeah, their flat 12 engine just wasn't
I'm
ready.
surprised you're not telling us about a riot.
Not competitive at all.
From the Tifosi.
So they came last in practice with their new driver, Italian driver, Brambilla. Brambilla? Is that how you say it? Brambilla, yeah.
Okay, that's enough. I've heard enough. No more.
I know. Yeah, because I agree, because they gave the car to Rodriguez, who didn't do any better, and he qualified, or not much better, 12th out of 15th. Yeah. Let's see. I wonder if we should do ticket sales reports as well. So to race day at race start, Holm hesitated a little as the flag fell, so Stewart shot past him and actually bent Holm's left nose fin in the process.
Where's Ix?
Yeah. So Stewart took the lead into the first corner, but Rindt was pretty much alongside him, followed by McLaren, Siffert, Courage, Beltoise and Holm.
Talk about Ix coming back down to earth with a massive thud after his strong German
he had
performance.
major car troubles during practice and ended up lining up last, so he doesn't really play a part in this race. Yeah, how disappointing. You'd think, we've turned a corner. Yeah. So back to the race at the front, we have lots of slipstreaming battles going on where the lead was changing multiple times. On lap 20, for what it's worth, and it's hard to give these ranks because it's changing all the time, but the order was Stewart, Courage, Siffert, Holm, Rindt, McLaren, Beltoise and Hill. That's a lot of drivers. Oh yeah, why? Because one should be there and one shouldn't be there? Well, then came some movements because Holm started to slip back due to brake issues and Siffert also slipped back due to engine troubles.
Wow. So let's not underestimate what is going on here. These drivers are going at incredible speeds, passing and repassing each other, like very, very close and exciting. It's hard to convey in this race review other than us reminding you what is going on. And I think there is some vision of this race on YouTube. So it's actually worth watching because it's actually really exciting seeing them passing and repassing each other all the time, like really, really close racing. Yeah, it is. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. And the not touching bit is a big, big call out because they know what the consequences of touching are. So, yeah. So by lap 46, Hill in the Lotus was up to second and he and Stewart held their ground, but it was still anyone's race with 10 laps to go. Yeah, we've talked about the time capsule. If we go back, or time portal, we'd go back to the Monza races. So, yeah. And I'd want to be on the start-finish line. You know, I want to see that because that's where it's all at. So then Courage had some fuel feed problems and he slipped back through the field. Yeah. We said we'd call it Williams, remember? Williams, we're going to stop mixing it up, yeah. So with 6 laps to go, it was now Stewart, Hill, Rindt, Beltoise and McLaren. So Rindt got past his teammate Hill on the next lap, and then Hill retired with a broken drive shaft. So we're down to a last lap showdown. It was Stewart, Rindt, Beltoise and McLaren nose to tail. So Beltoise got in front under a very late braking manoeuvre, but then went wide. So it was beaten over the line by Stewart and Rindt. So Beltoise finished 3rd and McLaren came in 4th.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. If you're going to win, you have to take a risk. And he ran wide. That's life. So Stewart won the 40th Italian Grand Prix and the World Championship with 3 races to go. Yeah. So great win by Stewart, especially blitzing the start and essentially keeping in the slipstreaming battles and tactically to win that race when you're basically with 5 other drivers most of the way. Wow, good on him.
Again, though, he did have some good luck with a lot of his rivals having car troubles. But even so, I think he would have won it. He's pretty level-headed. Like, he's a pretty focused, level-headed driver. You know what I mean? Like, he hardly makes mistakes. So, yeah. But, yeah, there you go. He's won it with 3 races to go. So he's on 60 points. Yeah, and McLaren's on 24 and X is on 22 and Graham Hill is on 19. No. Matra's also on 60, Lotus is on 34, Brabham's on 30 and McLaren's on 27. And Ferrari gains no points at their home race.
Yeah, they're not even halfway to his points. But they're still 5th. Let's give them credit for that. It's a positive.
All right. On that note, I'm going to call it. I'm calling it. I need a break. I need some mental well-being activities. So we'll be back with part 3.
Okay.
Bye.
See you all next time. Bye.
We have a Patreon.
Yay, we're a professional podcast now. So it means a lot to us if you are able to support the F1 Time Portal podcast.
For a small monthly fee, you not only get ad-free podcast content, you will also receive special episodes that are exclusively uploaded for our Patreon financial supporters.
We promise at least 2 additional exclusive episodes each month aligned to the decade we are up to in the show.
And you will also be able to make suggestions about any special episodes you may want us to research and present. We can't promise that we can do all of them, but we will consider them.
So, if that sounds like an entertainment bargain to you, go and sign up at patreon.com/F1 Time Portal today.
If you're enjoying our podcast, please tell your friends and non-F1 friends alike.
Yeah, and don't forget to rate us 5 stars or whatever highest is available on the podcast platform that you use.
We have a range of social media handles for you to connect with fellow listeners, so look up F1 Time Portal on all the usual platforms.
Or visit us at www.f1timeportal.com or email us at f1timeportal@gmail.com.
We would like to give credit to our primary reference materials, a series of books called Grand Prix by Mike Lang.
We also use many other written and digital references, which are in our show notes.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.